Hi, everybody. Today we're going to look at the United States Bill of Rights, which, of course, are the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. Please make sure that you fill out the graphic organizer. You'll need to do that as we go through each one of the first 10 amendments. So, as you can see, this will be the sheet that you will be filling out. The United States Constitution is a living document that establishes government, law, and order. As we've already studied, the Articles of Confederation was entirely too weak to establish a very strong government. Notice the area I have in red. The Constitution did not, however, speak about individual rights which were guaranteed to citizens. The document has been amended or changes added to it 27 times. If you do a little bit of math, 27 times in the well over 200 years, it's not something that is easily changed. As you'll notice below, there are a lot of other elements to our society. Slavery, the 13th Amendment, women, the right to vote, the voting age, which is something you'll all be interested in a few short years. That's the 26th Amendment. We're going to start with obviously the first one, and that deals with the rights to express oneself. And you'll notice in the yellow, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the press, right of the people to gather together, and the right to petition the government. The founding fathers were so excited when they decided to take up the cause of individual rights and freedoms that they chose 5 of them. Expression is key. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, the right of the people to peaceably assemble, and also to petition the government. As you think back to the reasons why we rebelled against the British, why do you think they decided upon those 5 freedoms? The Second Amendment is undoubtedly the most controversial of all, and I wish that the founding fathers would have given us a little guidance with this one. Absolutely no limits. What is a militia? And according to this, the wording, does it mention in there anything about the individual? And exactly what are the arms? What types of weapons? We certainly have changed in terms of the technologies of war in the well over 200 years since the founding fathers put this document together. I don't believe there's ever going to have this thing be solved. The Third Amendment is a little bit outdated. Now, this one was directly tied to the Revolutionary War era, in which the British soldiers took up residence in the colonist house. And it was decided that when we had our own country, this is what we were not going to permit. So the Third Amendment was a big deal. Soldiers may not take over your homes. The Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendments are basically protections for the accused. What an insurance policy. If you're ever accused of a crime, you'll have these protections. Now, most of us obviously will never need it, but it certainly stands us and sets us apart from most societies around the world. So let's take a look at some of these. Now, the Fourth Amendment is simply the Privacy Amendment. There's some key terms here that we'll be emphasizing. I would bet you probably have seen numerous television shows and movies, and a lot of these terms will come up. one such as unreasonable search and seizures. What about your lockers here in the school? Is that your property? They need a search warrant. The police need a search warrant to come into your home. They must have probable cause. That means they must have a very good reason to continue with the process. So these are terms that certainly I know that you've heard, and we're going to hopefully allow you to become more confident with them. There's a lot in this one. This is the Fifth Amendment. Rights against self-incrimination. I'm sure you've heard this in dramatic parts of movies. To plead the Fifth Amendment, in which you are up on the witness stand and you do not have to actually speak against yourself. The government needs you to tell the truth when you are up on the witness stand. If you do not, you are held liable for perjury, which is lying on the witness stand. And in many cases, that's worse than the original crime. So they want you to tell the truth. If telling the truth would get you in trouble, they tell you just do not testify, so you can plead the Fifth Amendment. No double jeopardy. The government gets one chance. That means you cannot be found not guilty and then a year later they decide they're going to charge you again. They only get one chance. The Sixth Amendment. A lot in this one as well. You have a right to a speedy trial. You have a right to a jury trial. So these two are very, very significant. Now, you do have also the right to request a judge to decide your case. And that would be an interesting decision to make up your mind as to which one you would want. The Seventh Amendment is the right to have a jury in a civil trial. Now, as we just said, you have the right to a jury in a criminal trial, but a civil trial in which it's not based on a crime. This is usually a suit being brought, a grievance from one to another. If the value of the suit is over $20, then you have access to that. By today's standards, very few trials would commence for less than $20. The Eighth Amendment is often in the news. This one deals with cruel and unusual punishment. You've heard the term bail. It's the same thing with that. You cannot, if a person steals something, candy, let's say, from a store, then the bail cannot be set at $1 million. And no cruel, unusual punishments. The Ninth Amendment simply states that you and I are given many more rights than can be listed by the Constitution. The right to work, the right to marry. So even if they are not listed, we are able to claim them as our rights. The 10th Amendment, as it says in yellow, powers not specifically listed in the Constitution for the federal government are given to the states. An example of that would be speed limits. States are different from one place to another, so there are many variables, and the government, federal government, leaves it up to the states typically to decide what those speed limits will be. So those are the 10 amendments, and make sure that you fill that out, and then we have a few nice activities, so we're looking forward to it. Have a good day.